Hey Richard, so we are live and it is with special excitement that I'm pleased to welcome Mr. Richard Lack. He is IGA Solution Architect at Ideiio. In next 25 minutes, we will will be introduced to an identity governance and administration solution which is cost effective, quick to deploy, and incredibly easy to manage. Richard is an experienced B2B technology professional with a diverse background in identity management, enterprise solution, and web development. He has proven success in cultivating strong customer relationship ranging from sales to project management. His additional experience includes quality control, testing, debugging, and technical writing. Richard has exceptional communication skill with natural ability to lead, delegate, and solve problems in an effective manner. Over to you, Mr. Richard.
Thank you very much for the introduction. As you said, my name is Richard Lack. I'm a solution architect here at Ideiio. We're going to just talk a little bit about the product we offer, what makes us special in the space, and where we think the value comes from in our product. So I will start off with a short little presentation just to kind of give you an overview, and then we will jump into a demo of how the life cycle of an identity would flow through the Ideiio product. So let's share my screen. Might see me for a second here. Yep. We'll start a slideshow here. Okay. So our product's Ideiio. As the host was saying, we do focus on being simple, secure, and cost-effective. We're trying to focus on a configurable approach to identity management over a customized or heavy coded approach. So just some general background on Ideiio. What our key purpose is to link your HR and IT systems to allow for that data to flow between one to the other without human intervention. So it's really just data automated provisioning of accesses, and then also the certification and governance that comes along with that as well. What we do offer is a robust governance capability as well as self-service, people's pages, lifecycle management, RBAC, and all that as well on the product. We will move on to some of the advantages you'll see with Ideiio is we do focus on a mid-market. The small IT teams can't keep up on other products that do require a lot more custom development and maintenance. So we are very successful with small teams. We're price sensitive, and we do deliver quick value. So with the that went too fast. So with our configuration first approach, the value does come quick where we can get your systems connected. We can move the data around and then build upon that where you don't have to big bang it. You don't have to have everything figured out ahead of time. So we do focus on that, especially with the cloud first model. It allows us to deploy our software in a matter of minutes and get straight to configuring for, 1-2 week type deployments in simpler situations and, a couple months and more complex. The whole key to Ideiio is to simplify your processes. Straight out of the box, it's a very configurable product. Workflows, email templates, all the approval models are already built in and give you many options to configure. And I'll show you some of that throughout the demo. Let's get into a little bit more of what we're focused on here and why Ideiio provides value to companies. What we basically do is manage the life cycle of an identity. So starting from the beginning, as you see in my little diagram here, a new user joins your organization. And we've done a lot of research over the past couple of years to see where we fit into the market and what kind of need there is. And we found out a lot of interesting stats along the way. Interesting enough, 56.6% of companies take more than 4 days to onboard a new employee. That's a lot of downtime, a lot of upkeep for IT help desk, service desks. We're able to speed that up drastically. 0 day starts, we can have all your access provisioned in a matter of minutes as soon as we consume that record from HR. Next, what we'll do is create the digital identity. And we also found that almost 70% had no process or relied solely on tickets to create identities. So we come into a lot of situations and to help out organizations, get them off of these manual processes of Jira or service desk type tickets and actually let the data flow through based on attribute type provisioning or roles that they have inside your organization. What we're able to do is create accounts in all your systems, whether or not they're SaaS-based or on-premise. We can connect to any of your directory services. We have out-of-the-box connectors for that, as well as for many other standard applications that you come across. So in this case, you don't have to have middlemen in between. It just goes straight from the HR data source or whatever else your source of truth is into your downstream applications. Go the other way. We also offer self-service. So our role-based access model gets you about 80% of where you want to be. There's also going to be those one-off situations where somebody might need a fine-grained entitlement with an application, or just request something altogether that's outside of their role for a project they're working on, or a temporary type thing. So we're able to offer a full self-service portal with real-time approvals that then go provision your access downstream. So you're not waiting a matter of days, it's a matter of minutes until you're able to get that access. So we also manage, like I said, through an RBAC system. HR is the source of truth. So if they move throughout your company, we are able to keep up with that, and we do it automatically for you. So we take away your accesses, we add new role accesses, all based on information entered into HR. So there doesn't need to be multiple sources of truth, multiple people entering things, and human error that can be introduced. We did also find that only about 25% of organizations are currently able to automatically create their new access for employees. So there's a huge market still out there as far as getting people into this routine, into a solution that allows them to automatically create access and to recover licenses when needed, and to overall performance can be increased at your organization. So we are able to automatically create all these role changes for us. Nothing has to be done manually. It comes in from HR. We make all those role changes. And then we go on down to the leavers. So I like, everybody eventually leaves, whether it's, feet first or head first. We do manage that for you as well. So many organizations are unaware that their data, the accesses are being removed for identities. So what we do is ensure that through our policies, through our termination flows, and there's many ways to do that, whether it's end dating, manual terminations, or any of the such. So the key to Ideiio, though, just at a real high level, is to manage that full life cycle, all the way from creating the identity to self-servicing additional access, to moving them around in your organization, and to the day they leave. Ideiio will manage that whole process and provide audit and governance capabilities throughout that. So here's some of the key business benefits you'll see from Ideiio. We connect your HR and IT system. This does speed up those provisioning tasks and also removes human error. We fast user onboarding, that 0-day start I spoke about, where you don't have the 4 days, whether working with help desks and managers trying to get the right access. It's all defined up front. When they come to start work, they can start working. We'll create all those user accounts automatically. It frees up a lot of man hours that goes into those processes. We do set access by role, which is very powerful as you define roles within inside of your organization, whether like location or attribute based or title based, whatever they are. Once those are defined, that does grow upon itself and allow for that to be set all automatically. We disable access for leavers. We can do all sorts of different fancy stuff around moving them in the ADs and removing groups or deleting them when needed. That's all configurable based on needs of an organization. We're able to verify access, maintain security, manage software license costs. So this is basically, you're able to reclaim your licenses when needed, and also verify that the people that have the access to these applications need the access to them, have it for whatever period of time, you know who gave it to them and all that. And that plays into our audit access for compliance. We do support all the regulatory standards and to provide, regulatory standards to be able to provide reports to any type of audits that you may need. We're also able to manage external identities. This is a very powerful tool in Ideiio, especially for B2B and SIAM type situations, where we have a very strong delegation model that allows the management of third parties or franchisees and being able to delegate admin permissions down to manage smaller pieces of the business for a little bit more streamlined approach. And then obviously it's going to reduce help desk tasks, whether or not it's approving self-service type stuff or additional accesses people need. This will all be reduced. Now, we do have a relatively robust customer base. We do like to focus on the mid-market. But as you see, enterprise-wise, we do have some pretty big names: Cisco, Boots, Toro, Avis. These are all names you've heard of. We've been working with a lot of those for several years now. But in our mid-market space, we do work with a lot of highly audited companies with high compliance needs, like American Credit Acceptance, New Development Bank, things like those that require audits on their accesses because they're either a bank or a healthcare organization or something along those lines. And then we also have we started in higher education. That's where our base is. The product has been around for many years. I think we're almost up to 10 years now. But that's where it started, was actually in the higher education space. So in the UK, we do have a very large presence in most of the universities out there. Right, that was about all I wanted to show in the presentation. What I will do now is I'll take you into a short demo of Ideiio, and we'll just go through like a basic a day in the life of your HR department and then an identity that would be in your organization. Okay, let's get back out over to here. Oop. Okay, so what we're looking at here has, let me get logged back in again. My demo. I love those timeouts. So what we're looking at here is just an HR system. This has nothing to do with Ideiio. It's not to confuse anything. I do want to show you the full life cycle. So this is just an open source platform that allows me to come in here, create an identity, and then provision them to the life cycle, and then apply all our roles to them, and then do downstream provisioning from there. So we'll go in here, we'll add an employee. We'll just say Jane Smith. And we're only going to put in the really important information for this short demo. We can add all sorts of contact information, emails, phone numbers, but none of that's really important to be able to show the RBAC in the actual lifecycle management. So we'll edit some stuff in here. We'll start him off as a sales executive. We'll give them an active status. We'll put them in the sales workers category. We'll give him a subunit of sales. We'll have him join today. Did that hit today? It did hit today. Okay. Well, no locations for today. So we'll also get a start date in. And with this also, we have an end date functionality in Ideiio. So if we set this end date ahead of time, the system will automatically terminate them on this date after notifying somebody if they need to extend them or not. But it's very helpful when you're doing things like with contractors, 90 days or whatever. You can set it ahead of time, and you don't have to worry about somebody remembering to go take that access away or any of that at that time. So that's just one of a few ways that you can remediate or take away access in Ideiio. So what's actually happening right now is we have what we like to call Ideiio Connect. And it's a stateless process that sits in the background that reads in from many different types of data sources. We have all the standards type connectors, whether it's just JDBC, LDAP, CSV, SCIM, and then many out-of-the-box connectors as well that we've developed for like well-known applications, you know, like your Azure, your AD, O365, Gmail accounts, ADP, a lot of HR systems. We have these connectors that connect to those applications, read the data in, transfer it within our Connect component into SCIM, and then that SCIM speaks back to the lifecycle engine where all of our roles are applied. So we'll go over to that lifecycle engine here, and we'll take a look at what's happened in the background from the HR system. And we can configure it to check as often as possible. For this demo, it's looking about every 30 seconds. So I'd imagine Jane's already over here. Looks like it expired. So now we're actually in Ideiio. This is what your admins would see. Your end users would never really interact here, maybe managers or your IT desk that needs to set up resources, integrations, and things like that. So let's take a look and see if Jane's here. Okay, so here's Jane Smith. She's been grabbed in the HR database. So this is a JDBC connection where we created a view, and then we grab a bunch of information about her so we can just apply some, basic RBAC methodology to it. So we did pick up quite a few different attributes here about the identity. And the start of our structure does start right here at the top with the category. So in our RBAC, you have a overarching category group that allows for birthright accesses. So, employees might all get AD accounts. They might all get, let's take a look. What do they get? So in this case, they're all going to get Active Directory. They're all going to get a building badge access. And then they're getting this because of other roles. And we'll take a look at that from our view page. So let me actually come down here. You'll see that we're getting these by our category, and we're getting our Salesforce here by our sales role. So this is all determined by attributes that were passed over to the identity. On here on top, it's the category was employee. So that's what determines all that. And then you come back through some more basic system information that shows, like your end dates and things along those lines. So right now we're end dated for the 28th. It'll automatically disable the person at that time. Just shows you where they were made. They were made by the bridge, wasn't somebody in the UI. And then we have the ability to generate all your credentials for you. You're seeing a reversible, revealable password simply for demo purposes. Usually this would be unreversible encrypted. but I do need the password to be able to show you some things. So outside of that, we'll come down just some basic personal details. Like I said, we could have sent over all sorts of things like emails, phone numbers. It just takes a lot of time to enter that into the system. And then we'll see some of the other stuff we put in about the person being a sales executive in the sales organization. Oh, and that's also why they have the sales role. And then you'll see here this little 3 of 5. So it's not just about having Salesforce application or Active Directory application. Our RBAC model goes past that. So you'll go to the categories, then you go to roles, which can be defined on locations or any other attribute about the person, job titles, really anything. But what we also have beyond that is a fine-grained access that we call entitlements. So when you take a look here, it'll show you what entitlements they were given based upon this role that they received. So they got lead generation, standard access, and read access. This obviously would not necessarily be everything everybody in sales needs. So when this identity comes in for their first day of work, their manager could tell them, hey, you need to get some additional accesses for the work I plan to have you do. So what we'll do is we'll have Jane Smith go take a look at the self-service portal and get herself some more access here. So we'll come take a look here at our self-service portal. We'll come over here to Jane. What we're accessing now is looks like I missed the password or username had a space in front of it. You gotta love demo magic here. I feel like I'm this one more shot and then I'll take a look at it. Seems to have, I'm right here. Okay. Oh, I see what I was doing. I apologize, guys. I was trying to log in end user into the core component, I believe. So we're here at Ideiio auth. This is James. Oh, that's my password. See, James Smith. I'm sorry about that. It looked like I was just copy and pasting wrong. So when your end users do come in to the system, they will have the ability to see all of their current accesses that they have, as well as any of the roles that they were given. What they also get is the ability to request more access. They can update their profile options, which is all configurable based on what HR wants to be in charge of, or if they can update any of this information. But we can push it all back to the HR system here. It has the functionality to reset passwords if needed. If there's not an SSO provider or some other software involved, we can do a lot of that work for you as well. And then we can also do a people's search functionality from here, which up until COVID might not have been that helpful. But now that we are working from home a lot, we don't know a lot of our colleagues. It is helpful to have some information about the people that work with you. From there, the main purpose of self-service, or the main value, is to be able to get that additional access that Jane may need. So she might have been told by her boss that she needs to travel now because she's in the sales department. So what she'll do is she'll request maybe an employee travel, and she needs car travel and standard. So we'll put this in for an approval. I need to travel. Okay, we'll request that. So that's going to go to one of our approvers to confirm. And then what we'll do is take a look. Maybe she needs a parking pass too. So there's different types of configuration that can be here. These are going through approval models. This is just addable. If she needs a parking pass, cool, go ahead and add yourself a parking pass. Now that she's requested that, she might also need some more stuff around sales or maybe even other roles. So you can also have roles pre-configured to be requestable. What this does is it gives you like a frequent travel. It groups accesses. So it'll show you, it provides 2 different accesses if you're a frequent traveler. Same thing with like, any type of human resource type stuff. If you need to get special access there to maybe go update your attributes or whatever. But what we'll take a look at is the entitlements. So we're going to give Jane some more fine-grained access into Salesforce here. So currently she has lead generation, standard, and write, but we're going to give her admin access as well. Give a little reason and we'll quest. So these requests will send off notifications to our admins to approve. We'll go over here. We'll go back to our admin. And we should see that we've been updated here with some requests from Jane. Okay, so we'll go down here to approve or decline. We'll see we have a couple different requests in here from her. So she needs to travel. She's requested entitlements inside of the employee travel. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. We'll give that to her. And she also needs some additional stuff here in Salesforce. So we'll save that and give it to her. So the 0 day and the real value here is that is provisioning as we speak. If we come back over here and check her accesses, it's already updated here in the system with her access, and it would be kicking off provisioning to an endpoint right now to go update what she needs. So as it loads here, it just wants to take a second. We'll see that everything updated for her here as well. She now has her parking pass. She now has 4 entitlements in SFDC, and she now has some travel applications with 2 entitlements to be able to do her travels. So at the end of the day, just speeds up the process. You don't need service desk involved. Managers can immediately approve depending on your models. It could be BSOs. You could have 3 steps of approval in the process. That's all very configurable. I only have a few minutes left here. There's a lot of things we could get into about Ideiio, whether or not I'll give you a quick overview here, whether or not we want to be looking at certification and governance, or whether or not we need, depends on the needs of the place. We can do all sorts of other things. So what's it doing? Okay, here we go. So this would be our governance portal. It allows you to come in, see all working campaigns, what's going on with users. Allows you to create new campaigns, whether or not you want to do this at like resource levels, manager levels. How do you want to certify your people is all configured here. This would be, very useful for audit purposes and compliance. And then you can go down to, and you can see what it would actually look like to do a certification of an identity. Is it'll start showing you why the accesses they have, what they have, and what you want to do about it. So, if you want to remove the role membership, you can do that. You can disable the identity. Just another way that you can manage your accesses. Once you fill out these reports, they are exportable, either human or machine readable, depending on your need. Very high level on this component. You could do an hour session on just this alone. Just wanted to make sure you had a chance to see it. Another thing I think would be important, because I've spoke a lot about it, would be to understand what I mean by configurability over customizable. So out of the box, we do provide 43 workflows with the ability to make any extra ones based on trigger events or whatever you may need. So we can call workflow anything we want. We can trigger after any of these 92 different items, could be what starts the workflow. Let's just say we'll just delete label for now. We'll just call it a test, and we'll add this. So now we've created a new one that starts after somebody deletes a label. Okay, so cool. We'll go back to edit. Now we're going to go add another step to this. So the first thing I might want to do is make it conditional that, like, if active is equal to true, then take any one of these remediatory steps here. All right, so we can do any of these steps, which a lot of them expand out. So what we would say is maybe send an email automatically if this status is true. We get to then choose email template. Oh, we didn't assign an email template here, so that's going to be a little difficult. But we could do changing identities category if that's the case. Then it'll say which category do you want to change it to. Okay, well, we'll change it to disabled. And then from there, we can go add this step. So now what we'll see is that if the status is true, then the category is going to change based upon a label being deleted. That's what I mean by configurable. Our email templates are the same way. You can come in here and substitute values as needed. So account and password would be just a simple modification to this template. Change your subject lines, any of that need is all configurable. I understand that life is not configurable. So we do have the ability for Lewis scripting for advanced logic and custom needs. If it's, complex situations, we can also handle those as well. Outside of that, another important thing to note before we get here to the wrap up is we do log everything that happens in the system as well. So that's another very powerful component of Ideiio. Incident response is something we do well. Anything that we've done, whether or not you've logged in, you've viewed a workflow, you added a workflow, it'll tell you everything that has happened in the system for as long as you keep these logs. We can send them off to a system to keep them forever for you, and then configure it in Ideiio to be a matter of a month or whatever. But this is another very powerful component for most organizations, is that every action that's been taken about identities, even down to the viewing of an identity's data, is also logged in the system for future reference. Okay, so I got through most of what I wanted to show you on a very high level. There's a lot of other powerful components of Ideiio through our delegation models. permissions of admin permission granting and other things along those lines. But that's the gist of what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide a very cost-effective, quick to value, configurable solution that really fits into the mid-market. You don't have to be 5,000 people strong to be looking at governance, which in the past we feel that it was that way. So we are out there looking at solving problems from the beginning, whether or not it's just connecting your components, not even bringing R back into the model or governance, but just connecting your IT components and getting that data flowing for you, and then expanding from there as your organization grows. So there is value at every size of organization with Ideiio. I was instructed it would probably be wise to leave a few minutes for any Q&A at the end of the session. So if there was any questions I believe I have a panel over here to look at. I'll stop sharing because that is very confusing. If there was any questions or anything, please feel to ask at this time, or I will start wrapping up.
Yep. There are no questions from our audience, so you can have your final comments if you have any.
Well, I think the final comments would be if anything that you saw in this demo interested you, please reach out to myself, Darren, Phil, any of the guys on our team here, and we'd love to set up a session with you to show you some more in-depth demo of what the software can do.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. It was great, and it was a very brilliant demo to show up what your team is capable to do. And with this, we have come to an end of our webinar. I would like to express my appreciation to all our speakers for their excellent, thought-provoking talks. And also a big thanks to everyone who made this meeting possible. We hope to see you soon in all our future events. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we would also love to hear your thoughts and get feedback, which will help us improve our service and grow further. A small request to all of you to kindly fill the feedback form, which is shared in chat box option. Thank you.